sad part of this whole situation. Is it on? All right, I should know better.
There you go.
I said, that's the sad part of this whole situation. I should have done that years ago, because there were a lot more people here then that I would have recognized and known, but they're no longer with us for one reason or another. They're out of the fishing industry. I said, they're out of the fishing industry. But those of you that remain have got one thing in your favor. You're fooling the hell out of them. They never thought you'd last this long, so now they have to take new steps to force you out of the fishery. It's my belief that Cat Shares intended to do that exactly. I asked a question at one of the meetings where they brought in the guys from Canada to tell us how good it was. Because where's the other side of the coin? Where's the other side of the issue? How about the people that you're not paying to come down, and what do they have to say about Cat Shares and quotas and everything else that goes along with it? One of the guys got so upset at my questions, he started using the F word in the middle of a meeting that you know, Environmental Defense Fund was putting on. The sad part is they've got a lot of fishermen fighting against fishermen. And that's the beginning and the end for all of us. If we can't stick together and we can't find common cause, none of you will be in that picture the next time I take it. That's the sad truth. We need to get going. We need to start showing up at the council meetings. And I don't want to hear the bullshit that I'm too busy. Because you only got 20 days, 30 days, 40 days. And if you're a scholar, you might have 67 days. You got to start putting in the time and effort to fight back. You're not going to win the fight without fighting. You've got legislators that don't show up at these meetings. They show up when there's a crisis, and they don't really know what's going on. They've got other people they have to tend to. But the other guys that are about gone. You know, this is brought to you by the same people that brought you Spotted Owl and Big Timber. When was the last time you heard somebody mention Spotted Owl? That was the crisis back 20, 30 years ago, and nobody could get past it. When was the last time? That's when they started picking on fishermen, was right after that. And it hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop. Today's gathering won't do much to stop it. You got to follow on from here. Everybody's told you about the hard part of fishing and what's happened to them individually, what's happening to the guys who aren't speaking, and everyone that's here today. You've all been affected. You've all been impacted, and it's not going to stop. There's a couple of us here that tried to serve on the council. Myself, I got 2 terms in. I had the chance to serve 3. But because of my big damn mouth and my stubbornness, I only got to serve 2. Eric, he managed to squeak through. But you had guys like Philly Rule, who got kicked off because he was too vocal and against a lot of what they said. Jim O'Malley was another. Jim Lovegren was another. I mean, they don't get rid of us by mistake. They weed out the ones that are fighting against them and making some of the most sense. And that's not something you can say about me very often. I don't make sense much of the time, but I know what's going on here. You know, this stinks. And the reason it stinks is probably because it's associated with puke.
That's right.
And I'm surprised they spell it without the H. But, you know, really seriously, what really breaks my heart more than guys falling by the wayside are the ones who continue to get fatter and fatter at the expenses of the ones who are falling.
Yeah.
You know who they are. We all know who they are. They've sold us out, and the time is we've got to start fighting back against it. And a lot of that money is going into the election campaigns, but they can't buy your vote. If they can't buy your vote, then you got to find people that are going to back you up. Guys from Massachusetts right now really need to take an interest in who's going to be your next senator from Massachusetts, because we just lost one of our strongest advocates in the country, let alone Massachusetts. And we need to find someone who can't never walk in his footsteps, but sure as hell can walk in his footprint. They're not going to fill his shoes, that's for sure. So I just hope this doesn't end here today. We don't walk away feeling frustrated because we didn't get anything out of it. They've started to blink. And where did they blink? It's by extending the qualification period until the end of the year. Tomorrow is supposed to be the deadline for putting in your appeals. You now have until January 1st or December 31st. So that's the first blink. Keep going after your politicians. That's the only way we're going to win this. I thank you all for coming up today.